Thank you so much for joining us today for the Pastor's Potluck Podcast. Here on the Pastor's Potluck, it's similar to a normal potluck where you might get something that you want and there may be something that you just want to pass up altogether. And that's okay. There's something here for everybody. Our goal here is to encourage you and maybe in the process entertain you. If you're ready, let's dig in. Welcome to another episode of the Pastor's Potluck Podcast. We are here. We're joined by Will.
Yo.
And Anna.
Yes.
Hey. Here,
it's happening. Yeah. No. I didn't adjust yet. I gotta
Maybe
get this
pull
closer.
that thing closer.
I gotta get it closer.
Dude, I already feel like we've been in this new year for 6 months.
It's December already.
You guys.
It's because I'm like walking a lot slower.
Oh yeah.
Because of my broken toe.
Yeah.
And so like I'm walking around here like a penguin. Like just I'm waddling everywhere. like a 8.5 month pregnant woman just waddling.
Yeah. Well, I was watching you walk through the worship center when we were tearing down from the podcast earlier this week, and you're just like, I hate that I move so slow.
Dude, because I move fast. Like
yeah.
I want to get stuff done, and I don't know. Maybe God's trying to tell me to stop and smell the roses, but there's no roses inside Jesus. Thank you.
Get it together.
Yeah.
Oh my
But
gosh.
don't donate any plants to the church, please.
No roses.
We're not that type of church that puts plants on the stage and stuff. But anyways, how's it going? First, it's like the second week of the year.
Second week of the year, school started today, so I'm like,
oh Lord.
yeah. So it's Wednesday decided to be super busy for me. Like,
yeah, school started. We have we're recording this on a Wednesday.
Doing a bunch of filming later. It's
and a big old
new
staff meeting.
Meetings.
Yeah, new staff meeting time.
Yeah, you're not getting anything done.
Yeah, congrats.
No.
Congrats on being completely
you're
locked
burning
down.
You're burning the midnight oil, bruh.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Well, how did your last semester go? Let's celebrate a little bit of that.
It went really good. I got a 4.0, so
that's crazy.
Yeah,
very cool.
I've never even been a C average student, so I was like really amazed by that.
Yeah,
and it felt really good to see my hard work pay off.
For sure, man.
I felt it slipping there at the end of the semester, because I was just getting wore out.
Yeah,
and it was just kind of like. You expect to be all like, yeah, as you go over the finish line, but it was more like I was crawling.
You slapped the line.
Yeah,
exactly. I made it. Oh my gosh.
It's like those videos of those dudes that run those marathons and they get to the end and their legs are starting to give out and they have somebody else come and pick them up to help them get them across the line. Have you ever seen those?
Yeah.
So... that's good, man. That's exciting, though. That kind of gives, a little bit of, wind in the sails, though, to see all that hard work, and you're like, holy cow, 4.0. I've never gotten anything close to that, so
yeah,
that's amazing.
I was kind of blown away. I was like, really? You sure you got me the right grades?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think the
cool.
only A's I ever got in school were, for physical education or... I played racquetball in college. I got an A in that, and that was about it.
I think the big thing is I'm getting to learn about Jesus, so it's
yeah.
It really drives me,
Yeah.
It's something
That's
I'm
cool.
interested in. It's it's sort of honestly like a history degree.
Yeah.
So
right.
you're looking into all these deep things about the origins of the Old Testament and things like that. And it's just I don't know. It's kind of nerdy, but I love it.
Yeah. And you're learning a language.
Oh yeah, I don't want to count that though. That was
Yeah,
that was hard.
You narrowly survived that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, even
That was rough.
for last year for all of us here, it was a crazy year because it was this time last year that we were talking about the leak and the update and all of this and what our life is going to look like and how we all just crammed into the cafe at the church and we're converting spaces and trying to figure out what works best for all the different ministries and where do we put stuff, because we had a whole third of our building that was under construction. And so even for you looking back on it, Anna, this was a pretty crazy year, and you mentioned and talked a little bit about it in our services and just how good God was because he just proved himself to be faithful during all those moments. Talk a little bit about what this last year and maybe like what it looked like for you, because I would imagine it was a big stretching. It was a big testing of faith, and am I truly being reliant on God in these circumstances, because ministry still has to happen.
Yeah, so last year it was mapped out, let's say December of 22, 23 was mapped out to be one of the more scheduled, planned, goal tracking years. Like that was the way things looked on paper and the way things were trending. It was like 23 is going to be the year that within my ministry, within my personal context, we had really settled into a home that we purchased in 21. Like there was all these things. It was like 23 is the year.
Yeah.
That could not have been further from what actually happened.
I know.
And so what was cool is some of those aspects of the goals for 23 included things like having student or college interns. It included things like bringing back our discipleship program, the influencers. It included like drawing more students in through worship and through things like this. So what's really cool, and this is where like God is just so incredibly unstoppable, is that those things don't have to have a space. Like those were goals that don't require a room, or they don't require a building, or heating or air conditioning. Like it was just like that stuff can happen almost anywhere. And so we were able to really double down on that. Like, okay, we don't have a room or a space to create, but we can double down on time together. It just can't be here. Like, let's double down on time together at a restaurant or at someone's house, or out in the community somewhere. Let's double down on making sure we have interns, high school interns, college interns that are in the building, making ministry happen here, but also like they're taking students out to lunch, they're attending games, they're diving deep in the word on their own. Like, so those things, those almost like you're talking about your injury now, like, okay, God, there's stupid lessons you're making me learn. It felt like that. Like it was like I had a bunch of goals on paper, and in my mind, they had to happen within a context. But God's like, no, these goals can happen because of me, like because of everything that I am. And so it really was a stretching moment. And to have students see that firsthand, I felt like was really powerful for them to see firsthand, like no matter what uncertainty comes, God still does. And that's a really cool thing to see, and to thankfully, like, Holy Spirit, thank you for letting us see that too, instead of getting tore up about it. We're able to say, oh my goodness, like God is still doing something even in this moment. All in all, it was a stressful year. There were some things, like even in our personal life, like Paul's mom passed away last year. Like there were things in that, and just different stuff that we didn't anticipate happening, both within our family, financially. Like there were just things in that realm that were like, okay, this was not on the schedule. But even then, like God just was faithful, and it was a challenging year, but I think that whatever's happened has prepared us for what's to come.
Yeah, I think that because of what took place in our facility, but also we began to kind of see it spill over into our personal lives, because, like we have genuine concern. Like this is our life. And, it like for us, we don't have like the same opportunity, or like whenever we quote unquote punch out, like we can just turn it off. Like ministry is genuinely like a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week position. I wouldn't even say it's a job. Obviously it's a calling, but like I love what I do, but it's very, very, very hard to turn off what's happening. And so whenever these big ginormous things that happen here, like it's very, very difficult to just turn that off and, like, oh, how was your day today? Oh, it was great. Just I moved some stuff and okay, cool. What do you want to eat for dinner? It's not like that.
Yeah.
It's like we're playing Tetris, like with where we're putting people to fit in the perfect spot so things can still happen. And we didn't know, for a while what insurance was going to do. Obviously that takes kind of like a mental toll. Even though we're not the ones making decisions, we're still, it still affects us in all those areas. And so just going home and just like, okay, God, like I'm relying on you. I'm trusting you to make something happen. I don't see a way. I really don't. I don't have the wisdom to be able to do this because none of us have ever faced anything like this before.
Yeah.
Give us the wisdom, give us the peace, give us the right words to say to kind of be a beacon of hope for other people that are walking in here and going, this place is a disaster zone, because it was.
Well, I might have even shared on the pod, but I definitely share with staff. Like, I specifically remember one student in particular. She came for the first time. I walked her through because for those of you who maybe don't know, but our office wing was the pathway to the borrowed youth space. The youth was using a space that Recovery Warriors uses. And so, but you had to walk through the office wing, which was under construction. And as I'm walking, this new student, totally new, talking to her, hey, how's your life? Like, blah, blah, blah. Where do you go to school? Whatever. We're walking through what, to me, I'm trying to envision things through her eyes, is a war zone. Like, it looks like post-apocalyptic.
Yeah,
like, it looks terrible.
Because where the leak was at, just to kind of help maybe jog people's memories or that weren't privy to seeing this, where the leak was at was in the women's restroom. And all of the drywall from floor to ceiling had to be replaced just because it was damaged. And you could see everything.
Yes.
And so there's wires. There's all kinds of stuff hanging down from the ceiling.
There's no carpet. It's like ripped up, rugged, like cement, like still kind of tacky in some places.
Yeah,
like,
because where the
Serve Pro every 2 feet.
Serve Pros.
There's fans
humming.
going. Yeah.
It was chaos. And I remember thinking, how are we ever going to help people like get connected in this?
Yeah.
And I had that thought, and I was talking to God as I'm talking to this girl, like, God, like, you have to do something. And so as I walk her back, she attended the youth service that day. And at the end of the day, we're doing our small groups or whatever. And I say to her, I say, hey, it was so great meeting you. Do you think we'll see you again? And I genuinely was asking that because I was concerned.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I ask that to just kind of like, it's a part of the process. Like, hey, will we see you again? Like, getting them pumped to come back. But this was, I don't think I'll ever see you again. Am I right? Like, that was kind of my angle. And she says, yeah, I'll be back. And I could have passed out. Like, I could have fainted because I thought, how? Why?
Yeah.
Like, and she has been back and her family comes back. Like, and I'm just like, okay, God, like, sorry for ever questioning anything. Like, I'm an idiot. Like, okay, like, just do whatever you're going to do. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. It was just amazing just to like literally go through everything. And then after all of that, like we started like this giving campaign to tackle the debt here at the church. Mm-hmm. And it's like every step of the way, we're like, man, is this the right time? Or, God, what are we going to do because of this leak? Or, right timing with the giving and stuff like that. But God has shown himself like through every step of the way with the leak, with the numbers that we saw that people were committing to for the future campaign, with the initial, like our first fruits offering that we had. It's like, why am I going to try to do this if something happens or something pops off again this year? Like, and I think that's, I don't know if that's what he was trying to teach us as a church, but I think that's what it was geared towards me, was like, why am I going to question someone who has this roadmap already laid out for us and how he's already going to provide for us and how he's already going to bless us and how, like, I just need to trust him in that process. I need to bring those needs to him. because he wants us to have that reliance on him and also have that line of communication.
Yeah.
But
That's honestly why moments like that are such a blessing, is because it gives us that chance to rely on him.
oh yeah,
And that's I came in to all of this after it happened. Everybody's in the cafe.
Yeah.
That's what I came into.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
yeah,
And I probably saw it with a fresh pair of eyes, and I saw camaraderie through it. I saw everybody. Where now we're kind of separated during the day, or during that time, while that may have been a bit trying at times, we were able to bounce things off each other and really, I don't know, come together when we really needed to. And
Yeah.
I think that's another thing that he was showing us, was to build this together. You
Yeah.
know.
That's good. Dang it, William. That was good.
yeah, that was really good. So I'm looking forward to this year, and last week we talked with Scott and kind of got like an overview and just some things that he's excited for this year, and also just like not just for us as ministries, but like personally, like what are some goals? What are some things that you are looking forward to personally, but also through the ministries that we are overseeing and leading? Like, what are some things that maybe God's put on your heart, or what are some things that you're just excited for and looking forward to? And we'll start with you, Will.
Yeah, you start.
Personally, what are some things you're excited for?
Personally, I'm excited for, school to get going again, because it's, I love learning. I love just filling my brain full of all the knowledge. And,
I love that phrasing. Filling my brain with all the knowledge.
Yeah.
and, I'm excited for my marriage, to see where it goes. We just celebrated our first year of marriage back in November, the end of November, and when they said the first year is the hardest, they were not lying.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
especially going into ministry in the first year of marriage. Like, my wife's a trooper.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's just, I see us growing and we're stronger for it, and I just can't wait to see where we are when we hit that 2-year mark,
Mm-hmm.
And as for me here at the church and my ministry, though, I'm taking over the prayer ministry, and I'm really looking forward to that and seeing how I can put my gifts to use
Yeah.
for the congregation, and just build a stronger connection for all of us to God through prayer. And that is something, while I'm not exactly sure what it looks like now, but this time next year, what it's going to look like is going to be just crazy to me. And
Yeah.
and I'm excited for it.
For sure.
That's way cool.
Yeah. Anna?
So for me personally, in 23, I started getting more serious about just my overall health. In 2019, this is going to go back. This is a setup. In 2019, I started going to counseling, in-person therapy. And when I went, the therapist asked, like, why are you here? Like, because usually people have a reason they go, like work or family or marriage or whatever. And I said, my family has a history of mental health issues. And I don't know. I want to know before it hits me. Like, I want to know before something happens that I go, why did that happen? Or why did I do this? Or whatever. And I don't understand it. And she was like, yeah, I don't get very many people that come in for this.
Yeah.
And so I started a journey of mental health care at that point. Through the pandemic, I switched to online counseling, and I learned so much. I gained so many amazing tools for my mental health through that time. Boundaries and communication skills, and I messed up a lot too. Like, there were times where I tried to apply the things I was learning and it did not get received well, or it just didn't go the way I planned. I'm like, hey, Kate, don't do it that way. Like, I need to maybe wait for this time or whatever. But I was trying, like, I was learning, cause that was an area I was really weak in. Well, I stopped, counseling in January of 23. I felt like I was in a really good place and I had gained a lot of resources and tools. And so I talked to Paul, my husband, about moving, because that was in our budget. Like that counseling sessions were in our budget. And I said, could I save that budget line item and switch it to physical health? Like, what are your thoughts? And he was like, I think that's a brilliant idea, because he has gym access at his work. And he's like, we have stuff here at home, but if being home is too distracting or whatever, like we have that line item, like just switch it. So that's what I did. I switched in 23 my mental health line item to a physical health line item, started going to the gym, meeting with a trainer, that kind of stuff. And it was good. It got me in a different mindset. And I hope to continue and strengthen that this year. Like I hope to just continue and strengthen that in 24, because it took me almost 7 months to show up at the gym and actually want to be there. Like I'll just be honest, like that was true. Like I didn't want to be there for 7 months. I would go and I'm like, this is just, I hate being here. Like I don't want to be here. And it was in like early November. I showed up one day and I was like, holy cow, I actually want to be here. And I was like, how did that even like, oh my, I was annoyed with myself, but also like, okay, we can do this. Like, all right. And so I hope to continue some of that in 24, taking better physical care of myself. Cause I do feel it transfer to all different areas, of my life. And then, within work context, this might sound really terrible, but honestly, I haven't set any very specific goals this year. Because of last year, I feel like I learned some hard lessons.
Yeah.
I learned, yeah. So
I'm laughing just because of what you mentioned previously.
Yes.
And so,
So I feel like I learned some hard lessons. And so when I looked into 24 within my ministry context, I really was like, I just want to dive deeper in relationships with the people that I serve with, the people that I am, like the families that I work with, and these kinds of things. In addition to that, I did do a New Year's prayer, and my prayer was, I really want God to guide me. Like I'm really asking him for guidance, like open my eyes to see it, so that I can go in that direction. So really this year, what I'm looking for within our ministry is just God's guidance. Like, whatever that looks like, because clearly when I think it should look a certain way, it's not always that way. And I just want to follow his guidance, no matter what that looks like this year. So that's kind of where we're at with ministry stuff. I'm hoping that looks like, I'm hoping it looks like more students being involved with worship ministry. I'm hoping it looks like more students being involved with Sunday serving, not just in youth context, but across the board, like in different areas of the church. I'm hoping that it looks like onboarding more youth volunteers. Those are some of my hopes for it, but ultimately I just want my eyes to be open to what God's guiding us towards.
One of the things that I've had to like save all of this because I still have like another conversation for next week's episode with 2 other new people. But one of the things that like really spoke out to me this past year was Scott was talking about being good steward, not only of just our finances, but also of the things that God has blessed us with. And in November of last year, we purchased our first like brick home, like with a foundation. Like we've lived in a mobile home before. We've lived in apartment style condos. So, but like, this is like, I don't have any neighbors or, like it's been amazing. And so like, I want to be able to use what God has blessed us with for ministry purposes. Now it's obviously so slow moving to be able to get that, but like, cause we need to buy, we don't have any couches. We don't have any couches. We have like 2 recliners and a whole bunch of camping chairs. But
oh, I love it. We lived in camping chairs for like 8 months at our house and I loved it.
Yeah, it's great.
I'd love to go back.
It's weird though, because the dogs like want to come, like hey, y'all threw away the couch that we were sleeping on. Well, they're the ones that ruined our old couch. But anyways, once we get it set up to where we can actually seat people comfortably, like or what we perceive as comfortably, we want to be able to host a group. We want to be able to have worship team gatherings at the house and just have an open door policy for people just to hey, I want to get away from whatever.
Yeah.
Can I come over and just hang out? And we don't have to talk about anything. We can watch episodes of Survivor, which I'm really into right now. I know it's really weird.
No, it's fine.
But, or just whatever that looks like, and just have a space for people just to come, hang out, build relationships and friendships with people, and ministry to happen. Like, those are the things that, like, God has laid on my heart and Erica's heart for it to be able to happen. So we want to see that come to fruition in 24 and this year. And so, there's so many things that, like, if you just pray about it and ask about it and just say, God, open my eyes. Like, how else can ministry look like that's outside of like a Sunday? Because we're so programmed to, Sundays and whatever, Wednesday night or whatever. But what does that look like to where we begin to live out that I'm a part of a church, and I want my community to like fully rely on our church in every aspect, and whatever that looks like. Whatever I've got a grill. Does that look like cooking hot dogs for everybody that's on my street? Hey, I'm gonna take care of dinner for you tonight, and just be an arm to that, or just like a bridge. Hey, here's a little bit of hope. Here's a little bit of, hey, I'm thinking about you. Here's some hot dogs. Don't get mad at me because I put Texas style chili on it as opposed to West Virginia style chili or hot dog sauce or whatever y'all like to call it here.
Hot dog sauce.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
This is a divided room right now, so it's fine.
It is. But anyways, like how do I begin to live out individually to be a church that our community cannot live without?
Yeah.
Because it's not necessarily of what happens here on our property and through the doors.
Right.
It's how do we live that out as individuals.
Yep.
And I'm just, that's been my prayer is like, God, how do I live this out as a family, as Jared and Erica and my 3 kids, and what does that look like? And that's what he just said. He said, hey, I bless you with a house. You've got more than enough space to be able to do this.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like, over time, like, it's not going to happen as fast as I would like it to be, because I'm not going to shoot myself in the foot and just go swipe crazy on my credit card, which is very easy to do. But I know it's going to happen this year because that's what I'm looking forward to. Yeah. I've already had conversation with Erica. Hey, we need to stop. Our focus needs to be whatever we need to do, whatever it takes to get people in this house. Yeah. And so ministry can happen. Yeah. In a group setting, in a worship team gathering, just whatever that looks like. It's just like that needs to be our goal. Yeah, man. And our focus. And so, like, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about opening our doors. You've done it, and so
that's literally
lived through it firsthand.
What you just said is exactly what we did when we felt God call us to, because when we moved here, we lived in a very small house. It got us here. Like, it got us here, and it did everything we needed. Yeah. Like, it met all of our needs and more, like, to be honest, but it didn't meet the need of providing for our community in a way that we would hope, because it was just so small. Yeah. Now, I will say we had really good relationships with our neighbors because we went outside a lot more. Like, I'm tired of looking at the same 2 rooms all day. I'm just going outside. And so that was different. But like at the house we're in now, we've been in for a couple years. We literally tied finances so tight, and we just were able to get each room priced. We had someone here at the church as an interior designer. We had her come to our house and go through each room, and she did all the planning for us, because that's not my gifting, and it's not Paul's gifting. Yeah, we're like, we will get a side hustle to pay someone to come in and give us a list, like, and that's essentially what she did. Yeah. And it was not nearly as expensive. I thought it would be like, I don't know what I thought, like MTV Cribs, like, I don't know. Like, I was just like, this is going to be out of it. And it was so affordable to have someone come and just do that work for us. Yeah. And then we just did one room at a time. It was like, okay, this room is going to cost this amount of money, and we can thrift it, we can buy it, we can whatever, but we're going to start with one room. And it was our kitchen is where we started with the table, because then we can have people over for a meal. Yeah. And then once that room was accomplished, we did the next list. Okay, let's do a sitting space. Like, let's do a room where we can have couches and chairs and whatever. And then we just did that. And then we just went through the list. There's still things on our list that aren't done because time and money, like, it's just real life. But just seeing it all unfold, and like, we tried our best to commit all of that to the Lord, and just seeing him be faithful in it has been cool too. Like, just, it's just cool.
God is good. I'm so looking forward to this year. I'm excited to, with the conversation we had with Scott last week, and then y'all two, excuse me. And next week, Cheryl and Jess are going to be here, and we're going to be just talking about it. I'm just, like, I think that all of us, from what happened last year, all of our faith was obviously tested, but also, like, our relationship with the Lord, like, grew a lot. And it's just because of those moments that I'm like, whatever's thrown our way this year, it's like I think we all know that God's got our back, and he's got our best interest in his mind. And he just wants to see us succeed and continue to rely and trust in him.
Yeah,
so
that's true. I have casserole.
You have a casserole? All right.
Do you want casserole first, or do you want a mystery meat?
Well, he's never done a casserole.
I've never done a casserole.
That's why I'm putting it out there for
All right,
him.
let's do the casserole first, because that's how I'd get it going through the line.
That's how you do the line. He's like, okay, I see casserole. I know what it is.
Dude, why is casserole like always the first of like the
I know,
potlucks?
right? Like,
because they want you to fill up on it, baby. It's got everything in it.
Dude, it's like the kitchen sink, just a little bit of everything.
So this casserole is, okay. Welcome to the Pastor's Potluck Podcast.
This segment, you got to do your intro.
This segment of the Pastor's Potluck Podcast is Nana's Casserole, brought to you by me, Anna. I am Nana, and the casserole can be anything. Just like a mystery meat, casseroles are sometimes undetermined, but they're always partially enjoyable. So buckle up. Here we go. So this casserole is a top 5 and bottom 3 of New Year's goals. So resolutions.
Yeah.
Top 5, bottom 3.
Like, what do you guys? Top 5 that are always.
The top 5 goals of 2024 specifically.
Okay.
So this is from Forbes Health. This is a survey.
Gotcha.
And from this survey, what do you guys think are in the top 5
I
goals?
think health. I think first and foremost, I think everybody's trying to get healthy.
Okay, what do you mean specifics? Are there any specifics in that? Because you're kind of overarching a couple individuals.
I would say lose weight.
Okay.
I would say eat clean.
Exercise more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exercise more.
All right. Any other goals you can think of?
Spend less money.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one. Maybe read more books.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
a good one.
All right. Are you guys ready for the grand reveal?
Yeah, because we gave you 5.
Yes. Top 5 goals, most popular, starting at the top. This is number 1. Improve fitness. 48% responded that that's their number 1 goal for the year, improve fitness. Next up at 38%, improve finance. They want to get better with their finances, save money, do the right things with it, whatever, maybe even investments, fun stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then at 36%, just right there in that same window, improved mental health.
Okay.
So taking care of, like, dealing with different things, mental health, overarching in that. And then at 34% of people in the poll said they want to lose weight.
Yeah.
So I like that they've separated that from fitness, because I think that is a very specific thing that folks put on there.
Yeah.
And then at 32%, improved diet. So what am I putting into my body?
Yeah.
What are the things that I'm consuming? Okay, now the bottom 3. What do you think was at the bottom? People still said, they were like, I do want to get better at this, but it's not the most important thing to me. What are your thoughts?
I have no idea. There's so many things that pop up in my mind.
Spend more time with family.
Okay.
Was that one of? Do you think that that's at the bottom?
I think that's at the bottom.
He's
people
like-
want to do it more, but like they're not really sure.
I think like hobby related. That's what
Okay.
I'm thinking, is like something like
thinking?
hobby related. Like somebody wants to, like, they want to learn a new skill or something.
Yeah, I
Okay,
can see
that's
that.
2 guesses. Let's give one more for the people.
I don't know.
What if it's habit
Learn
related?
to tap dance.
Tap dance. Oh Lord. We'll allow
Well,
it.
that's hobby related.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's all right. So the less popular 3% resolutions include at 5% meditating regularly. So meditating, how about that? At 3%, people set a goal to drink less alcohol.
That's not very many people.
It's not very many people. You're correct. And then at a tie, 3%, lowest goal, perform better at work.
Yeah.
Ooh, the people out here, the people in the Forbes survey, get it together.
Goodness gracious.
So
You got to really like your job and want to do good at it.
it's true. It's
Yeah.
true. And so when I think about those goals, I'm curious for our listeners if they'd want to share any goals they have for the new year. I'd
Oh,
be
yeah.
interested in hearing that for the future. They can comment on YouTube
Or on Facebook.
or on Facebook.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
if they're
maybe.
at church Sunday, they should walk up to us and tell us about it.
Yeah, walk up to us and tell us about. I won't be here on Sunday.
Well, I will be. so.
Walk up to Will and tell him about it. But thank you guys so much for.
Don't tell me.
Don't walk up to Jared and don't tell him about it.
Wait for like Monday through Saturday. Like Sundays, my brain is like I'm already pulled like 1,000 directions. I feel so bad sometimes because like I'm like I try to have these moments where like they're connection points where I'm like talking
right.
with somebody, and then it's just inevitable. Someone is always like from the team is always just standing there like, hey, we got something that we need to address.
Yeah.
Like they're antsy.
Yeah.
And so, but like my ADD is so bad, I just leave people hanging in
Yeah.
the dust. Like, and it's so bad. Like
Well,
I know this about me, and it's
yes.
the worst thing that I do. Like,
Well, I
get it, but I
started
just cannot break
On
it.
Sundays, I started telling people if they came to me and told me something like, you know, we were obviously like in youth ministry, we have fundraisers or events or things parents need to like maybe pay for or show up for or whatever. Like, and I'll have volunteers or parents or even students like talk to me or even just general population people say, hey, I heard this thing's coming up. Like, do you guys need any sponsors or whatever?
Yeah.
And I've gotten to the point where I say, we do, and I want to talk to you more about this. Please text me or call me later today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm not in that Sunday space is not the right healthy space for those things because I do give you less. Like, I'm
Yeah.
offering you less. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not giving you what you
See,
deserve.
I'm just looking for more of the fun conversations.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed that casserole, William. What'd you
I did.
think?
It was good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's time for our mystery meat.
Next in line at the buffet.
This looks like Scott's handwriting. What's the best donut you've ever had?
Okay. Let me think through donuts I've had.
I already know. I already
Then-
know mine.
Okay, go ahead with it.
So it's a tie. So the best donut I've ever had, it's like those cream filled ones that are like Long Johns, I guess, that have like the Bavarian cream in it with the chocolate on the
yeah.
top. Classic. And then I had this other one that was like the rounded ones that had filling in it, but it was blueberry and cream cheese with powdered sugar, like coated with powdered sugar. Telling you.
Rocked your world.
Yeah, it did. And I don't understand why stupid donut companies put lemon in
Oh,
donuts.
I like lemon.
I like the lemon ones.
I do too.
But I'm going to tell you right now, my all
We
time.
are about to fight.
I've never seen someone's face twitch so quickly in my life.
I don't like the raspberry.
I'm all right with that. But there's certain ones. I don't like the coffee, like the dense, like the cakey ones.
Oh yeah, what are those
like
called?
they're
Old
like
fashioned,
That.
old fashioned
super-
cake donuts.
Have you ever had the apple pie donuts?
No.
It's
Y'all have way more donut knowledge than I do. You're like saying things. I feel like I'm sitting in like a French bistro right now. Like I'm not prepared for this conversation. I've been to Dunkin'. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of like where I'm at in this level.
Yeah.
My favorite donuts are the donuts from my home bakery, which just closed last year.
Oh, dude, that's the worst.
Yeah, it was called Quality Bakery, and they had these precious little like hexagon shaped just glazed donuts, and they were not so dense. They weren't old fashioned, but they weren't hollow like Krispy Kreme. They were just this perfect
Yeah.
middle, deliciable, almost cakey but not quite
Yeah.
fluffy donut, and they were just so perfect.
Dude, there's a place
And
like
I miss
that.
them already.
It didn't close down. It's still going strong. But in my the town I grew up in Louisiana, there's a place called Mesh's Donuts, and it's the same exact thing. Like Krispy Kreme tried to move to that city, and they didn't last because of Mesh's Donuts. Like it's been there for, I don't know, maybe close to like a century. Like it's just like it's just that establishment. Like people go there all the time. There's always a line, and you can easily put down 8 donuts, and you're like, I can't believe like I'm almost polished off a stinking box of donuts. And it's one of those ones where you, like if you get like the quart or whatever, the pint of milk, it's just like it's heaven. You don't eat lunch, that's for sure.
That is your meal.
That is your meal. Like you're just full of bread, and you're like, this is the best way to get diabetes.
What is your donut knowledge? What's your depth of knowledge, Will?
My depth of knowledge, I don't know if it's that deep, but my favorite donut are those like super dense blueberry ones. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay, so that's a good one.
Yeah.
But
It's almost a muffin. Like
Yeah,
to
it's
me,
kinda like
it's
a muffin,
muffiny.
you know?
The
Yeah.
problem
But
with
it's glazed.
the problem with like those like really dense donuts, like they can get dry really fast.
You ever had a super donut?
A super donut?
From the 7-Eleven?
Yeah.
Those things hit different.
Yeah.
No, I have not.
Oh, you gotta go
We'll
down
get
there
some
and get
today.
one.
I'll
Yeah.
get one after this.
All right.
I
They're
can't
down
believe
at
I haven't had a
7-Eleven.
super
If
donut.
you microwave them for like 10 seconds
Oh, okay.
and then you eat them. So growing
They have
up,
vitamins in them.
they have vitamins. I cannot with this.
Don't
'Cause
get out of here.
They
They
used to give
do.
them to us at breakfast at
I was
school.
just about to say that here in West Virginia. Okay, West Virginia hits top of the charts for states with obesity. So let's just start there. Second,
Let's preface this.
second for breakfast in public schools in West Virginia in the 90s and 2000s, they would have breakfast options like some kind of breakfast like bread or sandwich or whatever. Breakfast pizza. Okay, so it was this kind of stuff, right? There would always be fruit, but it always looked terrible because it was there from Monday to Friday, I think. And then they would put this little package warmed up that'd been sitting in just the warmer, and it was a super donut. And they were able to put it in schools because it was infused with vitamins and minerals. And I think it's all a lie.
I feel like this is something like out of that movie Idiocracy.
It is. It
Rondo.
absolutely is.
Yeah. It's
Oh
got
my gosh.
electrolytes. It's like, no, what?
Literally. Oh my gosh, yes.
It's like, no.
West Virginia
Yeah,
started it.
Plants love electrolytes. Like, let's just feed Brando. You know, it's like, no, you put water on it.
What is this sprinkler system? Electrolytes. Oh my gosh, that's literally it.
What
They're
plants
like,
crave.
Yeah.
we're feeding kids donuts, but they're donuts with electrolytes.
Yeah, it's like, it's what?
Yes. So whenever you step into West Virginia and people are like, I don't know, I've been obese since I was a kid. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I went to public school. Like, that's what happened. Great. Awesome. So, I mean, that's not the only reason, but yeah. And Super Donuts, they're at 7-Eleven and they're banging.
Super donuts.
But
Alrighty.
I hope you hate them because then that'll make me feel like I've been like brainwashed to love them.
Yeah.
I hope that you try it and you're like, this is disgusting. And I'll be like, crap.
I got to see the look on his face when he tries it.
I'm in a donut cult.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, by the time I make it over to the cafe to warm it up, you could probably go down to the gas station and get back up here.
That's
For how
true.
slow moving I am. But really excited about this year. Thank y'all so much for opening your heart and sharing just some excitement and just what God has been doing in your lives personally and professionally. But looking forward to next week's conversation. Cheryl and Jess will join us and we'll continue this. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Pastor's Potluck Podcast. We'll see you next week, and y'all have a good weekend.
Thank you so much for listening in with us today. We really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram. You can also watch the video version of this on YouTube as well. All you have to do is search up the Pastor's Potluck Podcast. From all of us here, we want to say thank you, and we'll see you next week.